Dude, you want to see something that's like not funny, but it is? But I feel like it's really fitting. It's this. Look at this shit, bro. Oh, brutal. This is the most accurate depiction of US politics I've ever seen. Dude. Oh my God, isn't that brutal? I mean, tell me that's not true. This is literally the Republican platform, like 100%. The Democratic Party is to just watch it happen. Oh my God, bro. Dude, that shit is unfucking believable, dude. It is so true. It is like 100% true. I hate to admit it, but it's true. The Republican Party is just fucking that. And the Democrats are like, all right. We're just going to watch the crash happen. You know what it reminds me of, dude? It's that Matt Walsh tweet, bro. Did you see that shit? It's this, dude. It's this Matt Walsh tweet, which is so right here, where I say, if segregation became the law again tomorrow, you think this guy would fight it? But look at this tweet, man. If I told you that a young man stabbed another young man to death for telling him he was in the wrong seat, and then I told you that one young man in this altercation was white and the other black, and then I asked you to guess the race of the assailant, every single person would know the answer immediately, Matt Walsh says. Young black males are violent to a wildly, outrageously disproportionate degree. That's just a fact, he says. We all know it. And it's time we speak honestly about it or nothing will ever change. Dude, this is like Jim Crow shit right here, bro. And yet, like every mass shooter is a fucking white guy, right? But dude, this is straight up Klan. I mean, it's coming from Matt Walsh, who is basically straight up Klan. But every mass shooter, every one of them is white. Domestic terrorists are white. Dude, this shit is crazy. It's fucked up, bro. I mean, this is the kind of shit, though. They did this. This is how they justified slavery. And during the Reconstruction period at the end of the Civil War, this was how they justified further inhumane treatment and or ways they skirted the constitutional amendment that ended slavery. It was what they did straight up through segregation. It's how they justified segregation. It's how they justified lynching. It's been a long-standing narrative, and one of many long-standing narratives that have been operative in American society. You know, I mean, we have narratives about LGBTQ people and the grooming, right? About women and their inability to perform certain functions and or their emotional nature, preventing them from being good leaders, et cetera, et cetera. Just a constant stream of wherever there's oppression, there is some type of narrative that buttresses the dehumanization of the group in order to allow the oppression. It is a tactic. But man, when I see this shit, it hits me on a really visceral level. You know why? You know why it hits me on a visceral level, guys? Is because when I was a small kid, you know, first grade, second grade, when I lived in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, and there was one black guy who lived in that town who was our neighbor, and he was married to a white woman. They had one black daughter, one white daughter. And what I witnessed as a kid, what I witnessed him go through, his name was Freddie, and my dad and him were friends. They became buddies. I mean, we got to know our neighbors, and we got along really well with them. They were just really good people. And I got along with their kids really well. Their older daughter was in my grade. Their younger daughter was like a year younger, maybe 2 years younger, something like that. But so I witnessed a tremendous amount of racism as a kid. And this was before I really knew what racism was, because obviously I was a first grader, but I could tell the difference, right? I knew there was like a color difference. It was quite obvious that everyone in the town was white, and this guy was the one black guy. But it was later on. It was a couple of years later when I think by the time I was in third grade or fourth grade, maybe 1 or 2 years later, my parents got me a set of Collier's encyclopedias. I was really advanced in school, got really good grades. So they bought me a full set of encyclopedias that were mine. And then that came with this year in review every year. This was like, I think I got that in like 1977, something like that, 76, somewhere around there, 77, maybe 78. But every year you got this book that talked about the dominant social and political themes and the cultural things that were going on. It was like a year in review of like major news, news cycles and major cultural moments worldwide, but specifically also about the American impact. And I used to read those. I was obsessed with those. And so I started reading that and reading about these social movements. I started putting things together with what I saw in that small town. And then I moved to Los Angeles, and it was very, very different. It's a lot harder to spot the racism in Los Angeles because there was a lot more of a mix of cultures, and it was not open like it was. You know what I'm saying? There were still racial divisions. Like I went to a grade school in North Hollywood, 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗪 Street School. And when I went to 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗪 Street School, I had some cousins that went there who were the reason we moved to California. This was third grade. So I had those cousins that were like friends, but I didn't have any other friends. And I noticed that the grade school was a little bit sequestered, the way the kids split up, where the kids of color, the Hispanic kids, they tended to stay in groups that were mostly their own nationality and or color. And for me, I didn't really fit in with a lot of the white kids, and I got picked on a little bit. So it was like the kids of color that sort of took me in third grade, which was really interesting as a third grader to the previous couple of years to be in a small town where there was like one black guy, and to watch a town and a neighborhood of white people not take that guy in, okay? And even when he was ostracized by part of the town, the people in our neighborhood didn't even take him in. There wasn't even a local protection of him. So to see that, but then to experience me going to a school where there were a lot of kids of color, and I experienced some negativity, and the people of color did take me in, was just really formative for me. And it was really confusing for me to experience that. And so this is a lot of how my experience looking at, these racial prejudices and these stereotypes that went on and how they're used in a harmful way. But I don't know, man. It's been my experience that despite the harassment and despite, the enslavement and Jim Crow and segregation and redlining and, fucking knees on their fucking necks on live TV, there's just not the same animosity from the people of color that have been oppressed towards the people who have oppressed them as there still is from white people just resenting the hell out of people of color and not wanting them to ever have any opportunities. And it's like, fuck, bro. When are we going to fucking sort that shit out, man? The white people now under Trumpism are calling DEI racism. They were calling affirmative action racism. Dude, it's just weird. I wonder if that's just going to always be our fucking issue. Like, will we ever get beyond it? Like, I want to believe we will. I want to believe that with the age of you know, Aquarius and the age of enlightenment that we're entering into. I want to believe that we're going to get beyond this shit. And part of me just knows that eventually we will. I just realize it's not going to be anytime in the next handful of years. Right? I thought we were a lot further along after Obama became president. I really did. I thought we were way further along when Obama became president. And frankly, I was a little surprised at like the amount of backsliding that happened post Obama. I was a little surprised, dude. I really was. I really, really was. I thought we had achieved way more progress than we did. And so it was definitely, you know, sad to see, I don't know, the racism kick up. I mean, I definitely started seeing it when Obama was president. You could see it with the way Mitch McConnell, who of course had known Confederate ties, because man, we got some work ahead of us, guys. We're second civil rights movement round 2. We're in it. We're in it to win it. Now we know we're going to win it, but it would be nice to win it with a sense of enlightenment. And you know, it would be nice to, I don't know, to win it with a sense of justice. You know, this whole idea though that DEI or affirmative action is like racism against white people is fucking weak, bro. It's fucking weak, dude. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.